You've stopped into another episode of Dad Crossing where myself, Nick, and my co host Sean will have real, honest chats about the highs and lows of dad life. We'll laugh together at the craziness of parenting and the silliness of our kiddos, and we'll support each other through the challenges and tough decisions of fatherhood. Whether you're a seasoned granddad or a dad to be, we promise laughs, relatable, and sometimes raw talk, and expert help to tackle the tough issues. Not from Sean and me, but from the amazing guests we'll have on the show. So let's be dads crossing through life together. Sean, have you ever watched or read The Wild Robot?
I have not
Okay.
done either of those.
Okay, I believe you can probably find it on Netflix, unless it's a regional thing or whatever. But it's this fun, pretty well done. I think it's done by DreamWorks, if I can remember correctly. Story of this robot who gets shipwrecked. He was supposed to go to one place and he gets shipwrecked, and his whole job when he comes out of the box is to like learn a task. And he basically finds this little duck, and who's kind of a runt, and there was an accident, and I won't kind of go into all that because just in case people want to watch it. And then his task becomes raise this duck, and so it's a very fun story between him and the duck and all the other and I think it's a goose actually, but whatever. And all the other animals on the island, but it goes through his life and what he needs to teach this goose, and in the end, like this robot who in the beginning was very much like logical, like this is my task, blah blah blah, software programmed, no compassion, no passion, no heart, kind of finds his heart for this like little thing as it teaches its final task, and it goes away, and like, oh, my task is done, I raised this. And so I just thought we just literally watched that last night. It's on Netflix. It's an animated movie. Well done, good rating. Like I mean, it's PG or whatever, so you don't got to worry about that. And it comes from a book with the same title. So just in case anybody's interested. So, but I thought it was a good that's how the story we watched, and now we're talking about our littles becoming adults and leaving the household, which, just to be completely, upfront, most people know, I have no experience with. Sean is the only one here who has experience, so he's going to teach everybody.
Yeah. Whoa. I've only done it once. I have another 2 times to do it, potentially 2 times. One might not pull off, but we said that on Monday.
Okay, he's gonna leave. He's gonna.
Yeah. I hope not. The same thing I'm missing.
Yeah, now the truth comes out.
Well, it's one of those things, isn't it? He said that today. Like, I can't remember where we were or why, but he said that I'm the last baby, and like I kind of thought to myself, yeah, you're damn right there.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's true. And
So, yeah.
Man, it happens quicker. Rebecca and I, when we got done with the Southwest trip, you're like immediately planning the next thing, and it's like, we're going to go to Universal. Everybody knows we're going to Universal. I've talked about it numerous times. Oh, yeah. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. And then, we kept going. And I was like, babe, you do realize, Noah's 19 for that trip you just described. Like, if we're doing one a year, Noah's 19 at that point. I'm not sure he's going to be in for a family vacation. Like, he might be. But I'm just saying. And she was like, oh, my gosh.
Jaya would, if we said to Jaya, we're going, well, she is. We are, we've got Wales and stuff for this year for Lindsay's 40th. Jaya's coming along because she's not going to miss out on a family trip. And the year after that, she'd come with us quite happily. So she'll always freeload on a holiday.
But it's not the same, right? Like, I mean, it's not like now they're they're like doing whatever we do. Like, I don't know. It feels like it'll be different. It feels like it'll be more like, I don't want to do that, or I'll just stay here, or something like that. I don't know.
Well, when the last time we went abroad, we took Jaya and Logan, because Emily was already
Oh,
abroad with
I
her
remember.
mum. Um, and it was hard work because Jaya was at the age where she was wanting to stop up late, and Logan was at the age where like he was shattered by the time it was late. So it was a hard balance. So that was an eye opener in terms of we now know we couldn't do that, but at the same time we can always say to Jaya, especially like in 2 years' time, we can turn around and say to her, like she'd be 20, she'd be almost 21 then. You come by all means come with us, but you can go on and do your own thing if you want. If you bump into like people of your age that are out and about, feel free.
Sure.
We'll leave her to sleep in when she wants to sleep in. If you want to join us down by the pool, join us down by the pool, that kind of thing. You are with us. We just expect that at some point you come and spend some time with us, and we'll go for a meal all together at some
Hmm.
point and kind of go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm.
So,
I'm good. That's a good plan. I know. I see Noah as he's about to be 12. Still got 6 years, but also he's like on that. He's like on that runway, kind of right. Like it's just kind of like, all right, we gotta like, yes, it's 6 years, but yes, it's only 6 years. So now's the time where we gotta like be getting ready to get him to a point to where when he hits the end, he's ready to fly. I'm not gonna push him out, but I'm just saying I want him to be ready if he wants to. I don't want him to feel like I want to go, but I can't because dad and mom didn't equip me when the time came.
yeah,
So
it's
yeah.
and it is all about that. It's about making them as prepared as possible. Um, you know that they've got a really good work ethic in terms that they understand that you know they if they're going to go to like college and stuff, that you're going to have to put the work in to get the accreditations that you want to do the thing that you want to do. But equally, you need to be able to fund that because it's not as easy as it used to be for parents to fund their children to go to college and stuff because life is expensive and college is expensive.
Sure.
Um, so we had that for a year where Jay was struggling to find a job while she was at university, and it got expensive. She didn't do her a lot. She spent 12 months down there, and I don't think she was very happy because she couldn't do a right lot. And we were sending her stuff when we could. We were like taking like sending mails down for her and stuff. Um, but when she finally got a job, she flourished. Like we see her now when she comes up to see us, she's like completely different person. She's more bright and the Jaya that we kind of know and stuff. So we worried for the first 12 months while she was down there. We were really panicking because it was like you've done everything you could from baby to like adult venturing off into the world, and they struggle to fly. So that's the way I'm going to put it. She was struggling to fly. She still needed the help. She still needed this. She wasn't really that happy. She was coming when we were seeing her because she was keeping herself locked away because she couldn't do anything. She just wasn't bright in
Mm-hmm.
herself.
Sure.
So, but yeah, but it is all about that. It's having that work ethic. So she started working at like 16, 17. She was waitressing, and then when she turned 18, she was allowed to help behind the bar at one of the like restaurants nearby. That got her some experience. So then when she did look for jobs and stuff, she had something behind as an experience. And I've had experience dealing with customers. I've had experience dealing with handling food and cleanliness, and take like being able to see a task that needs doing without being told to just do it, sort of thing, which really helped. So,
Yeah, for sure. So like when Jaya was getting ready, like what are some of the things that you wanted to, I don't know, make sure she knew or teach her or what are
um, so it's been able to cook the staples, which like
sure.
she has still managed to get wrong. When she came up the day, she told me she managed to burn pasta to the bottom of the pan.
Yeah.
So she'll probably kill me if she listens to this and figures it out. But so it's just doing the basics. How to shop around in terms of being able to make something of sustenance that's like not ridiculously expensive because you can't rely on takeaway food all the time. I know it's one of them things you have money, you're living on your own, you can't bother to cook. I'll just eat from different takeaways all the time. It's not a good lifestyle choice to have. So, so it's teaching her things like that. Um, it's who to speak to when something goes wrong as well. Like, you know, if she has an electrical problem in the flat, kind of thing, who to speak to. Which fortunately everything is run by the housing that she's in. But like, don't be afraid to reach out and speak to those. If you're really struggling, we're always at the end of the phone, no matter what time it is, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and then it was just having some street smarts in terms of she's going to be walking around, especially where she works. She's working till quite late at night. She's got to have don't be always walking around with both headphones in, kind of thing when it's late.
Mhm.
Have an idea of keeping an eye open for unsavory looking characters and trying to be smart about like where you go if it's not very well lit, avoid those areas, kind of just all that kind of stuff, which is
Yeah.
quite scary, but equally it has to be done.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
yeah, and we did that from an early age. We always kind of, as soon as Jaya was walking to school on her own, she had a mobile phone, so
Okay.
she could call us if there was an issue. It's the same with Emily now. Emily has a phone because she walks to and from school, and she gets home at different times to when we do and stuff. So we want to be able to have contact with her, and just in case something happens and she has to walk down to my mum and dad's rather than to home because something's happened. Um, but then it is the like trusting them with their own time. So we still have things like downtime for Emily's phones and stuff, and we did the same for Jaya because they get locked into this doom scrolling. So Jaya's big one was watching YouTube videos for hours on end on her phone in bed, and we'd like we'd get up the next morning and like I'd come down and I'd be like, wow, like I went to bed late and I'd left things tidy, and Jaya's come down and she's made some food and stuff, and she left it a mess. So I was like, so I'll do the horrific technical parent thing of going on the screen time because it's a family account. We can see the screen time of each of
Yeah.
us stuff. And I'm like, well, she was still watching YouTube at like 4 a.m. and she's got school soon. It's like, wow. So we kind of had to rein that in and teach time management and healthy lifestyle choices in terms of as much as watching YouTube videos is nice and it's enjoyable, you have to favor sleep because you're not going to be able to concentrate. So there was just lots of stuff, and I can guarantee that as a kid I was the same. I know for a fact I was. My parents had to come in and put a timer on my TV as a kid, and once the timer had gone off and the TV had gone off, as much as I could just turn it back on and I'd have free reign, once the timer was up, that was it. It was like get some sleep. So
Mhm. Yeah. Do you like do you feel your relationship has changed at all? Like how you I don't know, how you relate to her or anything like that?
um it's definitely changed
Sure.
just because she's not here to talk to all the time. um
Yeah.
I send countless TikToks. It's that I think that's our love language at the moment is sending
That's fair.
TikToks to each other. Um, if I see a trailer for a good film, I'll like send her the link to YouTube. Same with like games that I know she likes. Since she's a big fan of horror games and stuff, and I'll point it out, so I know when she comes back, she can play it when she gets back, sort of thing. Um, but it's just checking in and
Mhm.
like firing her a message every now and then, or a phone call, or we even chat on FaceTime stuff like that, just to one, so we can see her face and we know she's okay, and two, we can just have a good chat and a laugh. But when she's back up here, we still do like I'll always make a point of um taking her for lunch while she's up here, kind of thing. Just me and her, and Lindsay will do the same. Like in February, we're off to go see Deftones in Manchester. Um, just me and Jaya. So looking forward to that. It's on Valentine's Day, so Lindsay's not entirely happy, but you know. But yeah, it's
We
just doing stuff like that, and it's different when they're older. You don't. I don't feel like we have to baby her as much, so we laugh and joke more. She can use more adult humor with us.
sure.
Um, like I can go drinking with her. I can go, I like Lindsay doesn't drink anymore, so I can go and have a few drinks with Jay, and we can laugh and
Yeah,
make jokes at like random people, and we do that whole people watching thing and laugh at strangers. Um, but equally, we can just go and be in each other's company and stuff. So she's become more of a friend than a child,
sure.
as you would in terms of a daughter. But yeah, it
Yeah,
does change, and it does, like Emily's is changing now. She's this tiny bedroom troll that I barely ever see unless she comes out for food and water, or to tell me something, or to show me a drawing. Where Logan is still very much dad, 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 dad.
mm-hmm.
So, but he's 8, so he's still gonna like ask questions. He's still curious about the world.
Sure.
Where
Now, how old is Emily again? I forget.
she's 14 this year,
14.
so
Yeah. So yeah, she's still got like 2 years on.
yeah.
Because Noah's still very much like. Well, actually, if I'm gonna be frank, Noah's more like, yeah, what are we gonna do? Let's hang out. I think that's the first kid thing in him, like he like being the first, the oldest. I'm not sure, but he's like, what do you want to do? Let's hang out. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I'm like, buddy, go go find what you want to do. That would be a great idea. Now he's doing that a little bit more now. He's more like he'll just go do Legos, or he's actually into pergly beads now, which is new to me. But uh, and Ariel's more like she'll just go do her own thing. So, but I really like am am wondering in the next couple of years like what that'll look like with. I'll also like speaking of completely leave. I'm really interested how I will be. Like I'm pretty I'm pretty sure Becca will be a wreck. I'm feel pretty confident that she'll just be like total like she'll just be in utter tears when they like leave the nest for whatever that looks like for them, whether it's college or to be in an apartment with friends or whatever. But like I don't feel like I will be, but yet like there's a part of me, especially like after watching that movie, where I'm like, yeah, I can really like when that happens. And I'm just kind of like, maybe I'll be more of a wreck than I think I will. Like I don't know. It'll just be. I'll be interested.
when we first moved her in, Lindsay was a wreck. Lindsay stopped down there. She was that much of a wreck. She decided that she was going to stop down there and get the train back the next day
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't want to leave her. So I had to drive as I had to drive me, and I think we took Logan. No, I had to drive back on my own to
Okay.
come and get Logan. So, um, but yeah, it didn't hit me. It didn't hit me until a couple of days later when I think actually after we recorded an episode, and what I'd normally do is because she was still up usually at that time,
Mm-hmm.
is I would pack everything up and then I go in to see if she was okay and like see what she was doing while she was still up, like what she was watching, and like I'd maybe sit on the edge of the bed and like chat to her for a little bit, or if she was playing a game, watch what she was playing. And it kind of hit me at that point because I opened the bedroom door and
Oh
we
man.
hadn't
Yeah.
moved Emily down, and it was empty and the bed wasn't made. It was just like there was no sheets on the bed kind of thing. And I kind of it was at that point I kind of stopped and just went, "Oh." And it didn't I wasn't upset. It was just like just this reminder of
Mm-hmm.
like the changes happened. And so but yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
hard. That bit.
Yeah. I'm sure. And then also like I guess the other thing is I think about it is like I'm gonna miss like Noah. If I'm gonna be honest, Noah's like my video game pal a lot of times. Like he knows I'm dad. I mean, like let's get that straight. He knows I'm gonna yell at him when he does something wrong. I'm not a friend parent, but when it comes to video games, like I think that's probably when I'll notice it when I'm like, I want to. Oh. I don't have anybody in
Yeah.
the house anymore that wants to play this with me, huh? And maybe that'll come sooner, right? Because like maybe like right now we like play a lot of stuff together. Maybe when he's like 13, 14, I'll be like, Dad, you're not cool for that. And so maybe I will be eased into that. And that's fine. I'm prepared for that. But the other person I think of who isn't thinking about this at all, like Becca's thinking about it, I'm thinking about it, is Ariel. Like, I mean, now maybe at some point those two again won't be like two peas in a pod, and not that they are always friendly to each other. Lord knows that's not true. But when the rubber meets the road, those two like are upstairs playing Legos at the table right now together. Like they play Legos together. Noah wasn't super into her Bluey game, but he's like, "Yeah, I'll play the Bluey game with you. Let's just do it together." Like, I mean, they're just it's just the two of them. They do a lot together. So like I was just sitting here thinking I have never thought about like that's gonna hit Ariel really hard if they stay this close. Maybe again, maybe they won't be in 6 years. Maybe they'll spread, they'll separate a bit, and you won't have like as tight knit as they are. But
I
I think it will.
think, given how you describe their relationship for the 6 years that we've been speaking, I have a feeling that they will both feel that, and you'll probably notice there'll be small things that both of them do.
Mm-hmm.
So I reckon Noah would probably have something with him as a reminder of Ariel, and Ariel will definitely be keeping something of Noah's that Noah might not even notice is missing.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a part that I just like thought of. Like, how's
yeah,
how's Ariel gonna handle? That's gonna be that's gonna be rough for her. Because then
yeah.
it's just
It,
her. Then she's like a single kid. I mean, she's not, but she really is for like those 2 years. They're only like 2 years apart. So she's gonna be like her. Which I
yeah.
guess at some point
It,
she gets like what Noah had in the very beginning, right? When it was just like us and Noah for 2 years. And so she's gonna get that on the other side of life, where it's gonna be like just us and Ariel for maybe not. Like, you never know when Noah's gonna leave or not leave or whatever. But
yeah.
if that were to happen,
It was. I don't think Logan noticed it as much because there's such an age difference between him and Jaya. There's
sure.
there's like 12 years difference between them,
Mm-hmm.
there or thereabouts. Um, because I can always remember growing up, like Logan flatly refused to acknowledge that Jaya was his sister because she was so much older. She was like an adult or a grown up person in his
Yeah,
eyes for so long. So it was really interesting for that. I think the time where it will hit him the most, and it already is beginning now because of the age gap between him and Emily, is when Emily has kind of fled the nest and she doesn't come and stop with us for like half the time like she does
yeah,
now. Um, because Emily's like, when he gets something new and cool, he'll show Emily.
sure.
He'll always ask Emily every time we play Fortnite, "Do you want to play Fortnite with us, Emily?" Like, so he will miss that, I think. And that's already beginning now because Emily likes to do her own thing more and more just because of her age. And she has two younger brothers. She's got a younger brother at her mum's, and who's 3, I believe. Um, and obviously Logan, who's 8. So she's kind of done the baby to older child thing with Logan, and she's now going through the same with her other little brother.
Yeah,
And she's kind of learned that she likes her own space and her own time to do her own thing. So that separation period has already began with them, and Logan struggles with it because he's like, Emily won't play with me, and it's like, yeah, we get that, bud, but she, we can't force her to play with you.
we have
We've explained that she still needs to sometimes acknowledge and play with him and stuff like that, but we also understand that she likes her own space, and that we appreciate that when she comes here, she's not as badgered by her younger brother than she is Logan. So it's difficult. It
sure.
is.
Yeah, we ironically have that conversation with Noah. Because Noah will be like, I don't know what to do. Ariel won't play with me. Well, Ariel doesn't have to play with you all the time, buddy. Maybe she just wants to draw right now. Maybe she doesn't want to do what you want to do. So yeah, he's definitely the one that like wants somebody to hang out with in the family and do something with all the time. So yeah. So so you had mentioned checking in like you do phone calls but or like text or like the TikTok things or whatever. Like I think that's important. I think that will be important. I don't want to say I think that's important as if I know because I don't. I think that will be important. And it was mom got on when I old, you know, I'm old. But when I went off to college, like mom got onto Yahoo Messenger because she knew like that I was on that, and she has told the story to me of like, and I barely remember. It's funny how you don't remember a lot of things when you were younger, but like your parents do. So I was on Yahoo Messenger, my mom was on Yahoo, and she would tell me like I would never like just like try to hit you, just try to like message you because I didn't want to bug you if you were hanging out with friends, but like I was always on there, or I would always show on just in case you wanted to talk or something like that. And so, and she even talks about like when I was a freshman, when I first moved into college, I was like, I was talking to her every night for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I would just, and then finally, like, I remember this, like, I found a group of friends. They were playing frisbee golf, and I had never at that point had never played frisbee golf before, and so and they had this course around the college, and so we went out and played that night. And she was like, "Yeah, that was the first night you didn't text me or message me." And she's like, "So," and then you came back like 3 days later and said you had found this group of friends. She was like, "So I was pretty stoked about that." So yeah, finding that way that you can connect with them, which is obviously easier now because we have a billion different ways to connect, but
You're,
not
you're
feel
saying
like
is
you're in their face. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're saying that it's easier. It's also easier for them to ignore you because the reply from a lot of Jaya's stuff on TikTok is just that she will give it a heart emoji or a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's good at with she's good with the replies in text messages when I ask her a question. She recently had a cold, so I was like, I text her, "How are you feeling today? Have you got any like lozenges and stuff to soothe your throat, things like that?" Because I know she hates being ill. So I think it's the first time she's been properly ill, other than self-inflicted,
Mhm.
since she's uh, moved away. So, and there's been a couple of times where it's been self-inflicted, and it's funny because I rip her for that. So she's like, I don't know how I managed it, but I got up and I managed to get to the toilet, and I got back, and like I still had my clothes on. I was like, well, that's what happens when you drink. Don't do it. It's not big, not clever.
Yeah.
Um, but no, it's yeah, it's difficult. She speaks. Lindsay and Jaya speak more than me and Jaya do, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that she probably speaks to her biological dad more than she speaks to me.
Sure.
But I always like I always send her reminders as well that I'm really proud. As much as I don't speak to her and hear from her and stuff, I always send her stuff that's like how I'm proud of what she's doing and how she's attacking the world in terms of you know making her own way through it. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Even if they don't reply, it's still like that thing,
yeah,
right?
that's when I usually get a better reply from JR is when I'm sending stuff like that. So
Sure. No, that makes sense. So like you talk about how you see the difference, like you seen the little things, like you couldn't go in and watch her play games or whatever after we get done with our podcast. But like I would imagine it will hit a whole lot harder when the house is empty, right? Like I mean
uh,
like
when
on number when Logan, assuming he leaves, let's assume he leaves, like when Logan goes away to uni.
um yeah, but I mean by the time that happens, let me think. Like
I'll be
it's 10 years.
retired.
I'll be 50. Yeah, I'll be 5 years away from retiring. So and the plans to Canada. I'm that's- retiring to Canada.
You're retiring to Canada?
Um, I don't know. That's a
Go
pipe dream, but Um,
Talk to Justin, he can tell you where to go.
yeah, or
Or
Bruce.
Bruce.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it'll be weird. You got to think about it. By the time Logan leaves, it'll have been. Let me think about this. For me, anyway, Emily's 14 this year. 10 more years, she'll be 24. It'll be 24 years of having a child in the house by the time Logan leaves. It's more for Lindsay because she obviously she had Jaya before I met her,
Mhm.
and Jaya was 8 when I met them. So yeah, but by the time Logan flees the nest, it'll be 24 years of having a small human that you are responsible for in the house.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about
Yeah, that'll be something. Like I just don't yeah, I don't know. I mean, 20 years. It's funny, everything changes too. We were talking about this with the house. Like Becca was like, "Well, you wanted to extend the back of the house and make that like a master with a bath that you come on." I mean, so she was like, "So maybe, once we pay off the house, we can do that." I was like, "You're talking like 4 years down there." I was like, "At that was like when all the rooms were filled and all the things were happening. This was like, wow, wouldn't that be nice to have that space in our bedroom? Like now, it's like, doesn't matter. Like, what's if we're gonna have empty rooms? Like, it's good. Like
that.
that no longer is like an issue. And I mean, you never know. Like, well, they're always welcome to come back for sure. Um, oh, that's a conversation we could have. That's a fair. I think that's probably where we should leave
Yeah,
it
yeah.
next.
That was a serious conversation that me and Lindsay had at
Yeah,
one
yeah.
point. So
So yeah, but just all the things change, like what you want to do, why it matters, why you're doing it, like all that changes once there aren't kids. So let's go to that conversation. Why, like, if
so
Jaya wanted
this
to
is
come back
when
and it wasn't just for summer, okay, it wasn't just for
yeah.
like uni
Well,
vacations. Like, what does that
well,
look
she
like?
doesn't even come back for uni vacation really because she's working. So
Sure.
I mean, she finishes uni like end of May, beginning of June, and doesn't go back until October. So they do give them a pretty good gap. Um, but we had to have the conversation because Jaya didn't have a job. Or she did, but then she was laid off from the job because they were reducing the amount of staff because they'd finished with the big grand opening of the new place that they were doing. So, and business had quietened down, so they were just getting rid of people, which was a bit naff. But so we had to have the serious conversation of, do we like pay for her to have digs down there, um, which you know renewing the contract on the flat that she had and things like that. And we were like, is she going to be able to afford it? Are we going to be able to afford it and help her out? Um, so we had to have the serious conversation of like, they're going to have to come back. So if they do come back, how do we have the bedroom arrangement? Because at this point, Emily and Logan are too old to share a room now.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, so Emily will crash in Logan's room because they still have the bunk beds. She will crash in Logan's room when Jay is here,
Mm-hmm.
like for a few days if
Yeah.
Emily's here with us, which is fine. That's okay because it's just like the same as if we went on holiday. They ended up having to crash in the same
Yeah. For sure.
room. But as a permanent arrangement, we would have to move the girls around. So we were like planning how we could have two beds in the front bedroom, which is what Logan's in now, which he used to share with Emily. Um, so then Logan would come down to the middle floor and take the smaller bedroom, which is currently Emily's bedroom, which was Jay's bedroom. Um, so there was like that full conversation was coming. We also had the conversation about taking up some of the garage and having to knock through the wall into the garage, create a small box room in there, but there'd be no natural light,
Mm-hmm.
which was an issue. Um, so we were like, we had to have the serious conversation, and we were like, we need to think of how we're gonna physically make space because UK homes are shocking for additional space. This is a 3-story end townhouse. We've got 3 bedrooms, and that's it. So
Sure.
we don't have like an additional space. The living room that I'm in is supposed to be a living room, dining room, but we use it solely as a living room and have the kitchen diner instead.
You mean
So,
the space where the couch is? That's supposed to be a living room and a dining room?
yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's something.
Hmm. Yeah. So, like I said, they aren't the biggest of things. I mean, we don't even have cupboard space to store the vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner lives under the stairs where the shoe rack is,
It's the
and it's
Harry
not
Potter of
designated.
vacuums.
Yeah. Um. So it's like we just don't have the space to have 2 grown girls and a 8 going on 13-year-old boy. so So yeah,
Yeah.
we had to have a serious conversation about how we would have that arrangement because we weren't going to turn around to Jerry and say, "No, you can't. If you're coming back up here, you're gonna have to find a place to live," sort of thing. Because we didn't want to have that. We didn't want to do it. We always said to her she was always welcome back. Um, so yeah, that was a very serious conversation,
Um,
which we had it planned. We had that the girls could have 2 queen size. I don't know what's the one that's smaller, just smaller than a double
full.
bed.
Isn't it like full queen? Because it's twin, full, queen, king.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's full.
So they weren't sleeping on single beds because obviously single beds just aren't right for adults in my eyes anyway. So they could, but there was 2 of those they could have. There was a shared desk space they could have, and like I was going to have to build some kind of fitted wardrobe into the alcove that sits above the stairs as you come up, sort of thing. Um, we had it all planned out, um, just in case. But
Mm-hmm.
like we managed to find somewhere that was a bit cheaper for Jay to live, and she managed to get a job. So we went with that option.
Sure.
So she stayed down there
Yeah.
because we didn't want her to not be down there, but it was cheaper for her to stay here and travel,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pain for her because it's like 3 hours on a train every day. But
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would.
yeah,
Jeez.
but it gives her time to like she could take a laptop with her and it'd give her time to catch up on like assignments and stuff. So
Sure.
use the travel time wisely. But she's missing out on loads of life experience in terms of living on
Mm-hmm.
her own and doing their own thing, finding her own way. And we didn't want to take that away from her because I think it's important to find that. I mean, I moved out and I didn't go to college. Well, I did. I went to what we call college, but not what you call college. Um,
Like a trade
like so,
school?
I moved out.
Would we call
Yeah,
it
a
a
little bit
trade
like trade
school
school.
kind of thing? I thought we
Yeah,
talked about this correctly. Yeah. And you went to like
yeah,
I we would call it. Yeah, we would call it like a trade school.
yeah. And I left home at like 19. Like
Which there
bought
is
my own house
nothing
at
wrong
19.
with, people, because
No,
I'm paying people a butt ton of money who just went to a trade school, making more money than people who went to 4-year colleges and paid a fraction of the price. That's
yeah.
my
I mean,
soapbox.
16, 17, 18. At 18 years old, I was making £2,500 a month.
Yeah.
So, and I moved in with my girlfriend at the time, which happened to be Emily's mum. Um, she was still living in her mum's house, but her mum was kind of between that house and living somewhere else because she was moving. Like she was engaged. Oh, was she engaged or was she married? Um, I think she was married to somebody else, but obviously Emily's mum and brother still lived up here, so she was kind of in between. It was a weird arrangement
We're in
at
the
the time.
weeds. We're deep in the weeds, Sean.
Yeah, yeah. And then I ended up buying that house off Emily's mum's mum, so Emily's grandma. Yeah, I bought that house off her. I took that on, sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
at like 18, 19 years old. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I wonder what it'll be like if like Noah comes back. And obviously there's like a bunch of circumstances that are around that. Like if you're back for a summer because you don't know where to go, or you're in college, like that's one thing. If you're living in my house and you're not interested in finding a job, which man, that would shock me if that was a Noah. If that was Noah, he's very cool. But possible. Like that'll be another conversation, right? Like of like, well, if you're gonna live here, you need to find a job at least. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that like that can take a whole bunch of different like turns and I think all of them like, have to like play out and try to figure.
Yeah. We had that conversation with Jay. If she was back up here, as well as commuting to and from university, because she was only going in on 2 days a week, she would have to find work for the rest of that time,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd have to pay rent because you know
Mm-hmm.
we've already spent so much on you living away and helping you out that way that feeding you and paying your travel expenses is going to be costly. So, you're going to have to give something back. And it'll only be the same with Emily and Logan. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if they don't want to go to university, because you don't have to, it's college over here. So you hit 16, leave high school at 16 in the UK, just as a quick refresher for people that might not listen to this. So in the UK, you hit 16, and then after 16, you go to college for 2 years. So you go to college from 16 to 18, and then after 18, you have the opportunity to go to university or get a job or get an apprenticeship or do whatever you want. But the 16 to 18 part is now compulsory in the UK. You have to do that. If you don't, then you have to find a job or you have to find an apprenticeship, which is what I did. Um, but if like at 18 they don't want to go to university, get a job, pay rent until you find your own place. It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm
Yeah.
not going
No,
to have somebody turn around and say to me, "Oh, I'm not going to find a job because I don't want to work." It's you. I don't have that in me. You have to work.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I don't have a problem with that. Like, I mean, I have somebody once told me they did this, and I kind of like the idea. Um, they made their kid pay rent, but they put it in a savings account.
Yeah.
And basically he was like, my plan was if I was good with his plan, like what he was doing, like I've got a job, dad, I know where I'm gonna go, blah 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 blah. Then basically he was like he turned around and paid for their um deposit and first month's rent with the rent that he was getting from. And
Yeah.
I've really liked that. Like ever since I've heard that, I've been like, yeah, if that's Noah and Ariel, I will 100% take that tag. I won't tell, like he didn't tell them, and I wouldn't either. Like so that they're not planning on it or anything like that. But just like keep that money back and be like, hey, you got a good head on your shoulders, you got a good plan. I appreciate what you're doing. Here's let me take care of this with.
Yeah, because I mean, a deposit if you're renting can be up to anything up to 4 months in advance, can't it?
Yeah, yeah,
So like a quarter in advance, and then you still have to pay your first month's rent. And that advance is kind of what you get back at the end of it if you leave the property in good condition, which can be a lot. It can be 6 grand
yeah,
for
for sure.
for renting for definite. So yeah, I'm saying I would charge rent, but I wouldn't be using that for
Hmm.
things unless it was becoming ridiculously expensive to
Yeah.
feed and stuff. And then I'd take a fraction to do the feeding, and the rest I would bank. But I would be the same. I wouldn't tell them that's what's happening. It's just, you know, I found a place I want to live, but now I'm having to save for it. And it's like, well, okay, find out the details, and here's this. Oh. But Lindsay kind of did that for Jaya, but she ended up using it on her housing. So that pot that Lindsay saved from Jaya being born, she spent in the last 12 months on housing. So,
I just asked like chat some stuff, and most everything we've talked about, but this one I thought was really funny. And Becca's parents kind of did. Don't make the house feel like a new chapter, not a museum. Um, uh, the, the Becca's parents kind of did this. We when she first brought me over to the house, we walked to the back room, and it was just pictures of Becca. And I don't mean like a picture or like maybe like a collage. It was like basically 8 by 10s of her entire school childhood and numerous others. And I was like, she had told me, she was like, you need to prepare yourself. I've talked to them about it. It's but hot. And I was like, when I walked in, it's just like this. It's not. They have a living room, and then there's like the dining room, kitchen, and then there's like this back room, which is pretty much where they watch TV and do stuff, just like the the two of them, you know. And so yeah, I walked back there and I was like, now, I will say since then they have like diversified the pictures. Some have come down, added grandkids, added other family members. It looks much more. It's still a lot of pictures, but at least it's like diversified. But initially, wow, it's a lot. So I thought that was like don't make it a museum. Change up the house, do something different with the room or whatever.
Yeah, well, and that's what we did. We left it for a while, like with the bed made, the last like duvet set that Jay had, we left it, and we kind of said to Emily because she was desperate for it to be her room. We was like, just give us some time because we're having to adjust that Jay isn't in there anymore, and more so for Lindsay because Lindsay would go in there and kind of have a minute.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Um, and then it got moved into Emily's room, so we changed the bedding. We took down some of the pictures and stuff that Jay had put up. Emily put some of her drawings up, um, and we took Emily brought her books down, and she kind of made it her own space, and she was involved in that, which was really nice. So, but
Yeah.
it's also the only other spare bed in the house. So if anybody comes to stay, Emily gets bunked out. Unfortunately, if she is here. Um,
Yeah.
but
That.
I'd like to change that, but I need a bigger house, and houses are expensive. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no, that's fun. Emily's like pulling her stuff in. Jay is like walking out. Emily's like, here's my stuff. I'm moving in. You guys are like,
oh, I
wow,
can remember the day I
chill.
moved out to with my mum and dad's. My brother, within the first 20 minutes of me leaving the house, my brother had already taken my bed and put it in his bedroom. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to take that. That's mine now." So,
So,
and weirdly enough, that is now they're going to be my bedroom at my mum and dad's house because they're still in the same house. That is now going to be my dad's respite bedroom until like he can handle stairs after losing his
sure,
leg. So,
sure. All right. Well, we're at 47 minutes. Anything else you want to add that we haven't?
um, just make sure you have a really good conversation with them about how they feel about things. If there's anything that they're worried about, that was one of the biggest things we did with Jerry's. Is if there's anything she's worried about, get them to bring it up with you before they go, because that initial like Jaya will openly say now she misses her own space when she comes up here. She likes to come up and see us, but after a few days, she misses her own space. She's always been the same. She's very much a quiet time kind of person.
Sure.
Um, but that initial time when you first leave them and they're on their own in their own space and they have to make a decision what they want to do next and what they need to do next and what they feel like doing next is going to be very daunting. So if you can, one of the two parents, if there's two of you, stay for the first night, get them to take the lead about what they want to do, what they want to eat, what they want to watch, what they want to do, if they want to finish setting up their own space. But then after that, you kind of have to just go. So
Mm-hmm.
when we moved Jerry into a second place, um, I said to her, "Do you want me to help you unpack and kind of put things in places, and she said, "No, no, I want to do this bit myself because last time everybody helped. This time I want to make it my own." So I was like, "Yep, okay." I'd give her a big hug. Said, "Stay safe, and I'll see you soon." Um, and left, kind of thing. So yeah, just to make sure you have that really good conversation, and they've got an understanding of what's coming next for them, so it isn't as much of a shock, and they end up upset. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Good stuff. All right. Well,
cool.
there you
Well,
go.
thanks very much for listening. Interesting topic. I could have kept going for a lot longer. So I'm glad you've called it at 47 minutes. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. And we hope it's not too difficult for you when yours fly the nest. But yeah, and let us know if and when they are, and if there's anything you need to cope with, we'll try our hardest. But
Yeah, and let us know if we missed anything. If you've
yeah,
gone through it, then or whatever, let us know if there's a piece we missed.
yeah. And just a big thanks to Tim, because it was Tim's suggestion in our little area. So thanks, Tim, for that. And until next time, we shall see you later.
See you later, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Crossing. We're here to remind you that this podcast is made by dads for dads. It's a place where all of us can come together, share a laugh, and tackle the wild ride that is fatherhood. If you want to keep the conversation going or just need a safe space to chat or ask for help, you are always welcome to reach out. You can find me, Sean, at Sean_Abbott, and you can find my good friend Nick at Nick10Do. And of course, give our social media platforms a good look over, because that is where we share all the updates, all the laughs, and all the things dad life. That is, everything is at Dad Crossing. For anything more, feel free to drop us a message at team@dadcrossing.com. And until next time, stay strong, stay connected, and remember, you're never alone on this journey. We'll see you in the next episode of Dad Crossing.